You are back. Freedom Friday with Carl Gallups and his special guest and Canadian correspondent, Mike Shoesmith. Now, here's Carl and Mike.
All right, welcome back, Freedom Friday. Welcome back, America. Mike Shoesmith, syndicated blogger and the executive director of the world-famous mega-viral ppsimmons YouTube Ministries and everything that goes with it. Mike Shoesmith, welcome to us from Toronto, Canada. Just open up, tell us what's on your mind, man.
Well, listen, halo of Florida and America, the best friends that Canada could ever hope to have, and we really appreciate you guys down there.
Thanks.
We are. Many of us are deeply invested in getting rid of the abomination out of the White House. In fact, I have infiltrated the Obama White House through their email servers.
Yeah, I know you have. Tell our audience about that. What's the latest?
Well, I mean, they send out regular emails, and so in fact, just recently they sent me a personal email. So it wasn't a blanket email. They sent one to me personally saying, look, we've been tracking you, and we know that you haven't given anything to the campaign yet. Yeah. So why aren't you ponying up and giving to this campaign?
So it's a bully email.
Well, listen, not only is it a bully email, but it's highly illegal.
And tell the audience why.
Well, I mean, they're petitioning a Canadian citizen living in Canada for money.
Yeah, and they know. Money. Yeah, and they know who you are because I mean, they said they've tracked you and they know you, so sure. they know it's illegal, and they're still soliciting funds illegally.
Oh yeah, but his Secret Service nickname is Renegade, which means the lawless one.
Right.
So who cares about the law, right? Well, listen, the email, they sent me another email today, like one of their blanket emails, and it was a picture, of Barack Obama. With his arm around the back of Joe Biden. This picture was taken today.
Yeah.
And Biden's arm is around Obama's back. And the caption of the pictures, and this is up on our Facebook page. I posted it to our Facebook page directly.
At ppsimmons
Facebook page.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a picture of the two men walking out of the Oval Office. And they've got their arms around each other's backs, leaving the Oval Office. And somebody took a picture, and the caption says, "We've got each other's backs." Uh-huh. I couldn't help but almost get weepy at the sight of those two leaving the Oval Office.
Yeah.
Now, as much as we in Canada, the Facebook page Canadians United for the Re-election of Barack Obama, it should read, Canadians United for the re-election of Barack Obama, against the re-election of Barack Obama ever, because right. I don't know how many of you are aware of this, but he could actually run again, like in 2016, if he wanted to.
Yeah, if he loses.
They don't have to be consecutive terms.
That's right.
We're against him being re-elected ever, but yeah, we are heavily invested in that, and yet I was a little bit. I did watch the debate last night. I was a little disturbed by now I'm trying to make this as kindly as possible, but disturbed by a sort of impotency on Ryan's part, by virtue of two things. One thing is that he actually voted in favor of the union bailout of General Motors.
Right.
He voted in favor of that. Now, that did come up, and he could have just slam dunked him into the next century.
Right.
But he couldn't because he voted for it.
Right.
And another thing is that Ryan actually went after the stimulus money himself, which did sort of tie his arms a little bit as far as being able to go after that part of it as well.
Right.
So those two parts, I was really frustrated. I was thinking, I could have done what I could have done with that material, but he couldn't.
Right.
Because he voted in favor of it.
Right.
So other than that, I mean, obviously it was the adult against the child.
Yeah.
And it was well done on his part. Other than those two, they were major things in my mind. But other than that, really, it is the adults against the children here. So well done. But listen, we posted an article early on this week. Breaking news. In fact, I broke the news because I'm the one who is the source on this one. As you know, Carl, I am a foster parent.
Right.
To a lovely 15-year-old girl, and she's been with us just under a year now. And And we're supposed to have regular meetings with children. Do they call it Children's Aid Society down there in Florida, by the way?
No, it goes under various names: Children Health Services, Department of Health, Department of Children's Services, depending upon the state and whether you're talking about a federal agency or a state agency. Yeah. But go ahead, give us the Canadian story.
Well, we call it the Children's Aid Society up here. It's the organization that when children are in danger or being neglected by their parents, the Children's Aid Society, they get a warrant and they go in and they take children away from their parents. And there's some cases. It's very rarely does it happen where it's unwarranted, but there are checks and balances in place to make sure that 99% of the time it is warranted. The children are being abused, and so the Children's Aid Society, they step in and they take care of business. So this young lady, she was taken away from her parents, and she lives with us now, and it's all working out well. But I was only able to meet with the caseworker just the other day because I travel a lot. I'm a businessman and so on. And so we got to meet finally, and we sat down at the kitchen table, and we got to talking. And she mentioned that she had just come back from a suicide conference.
Uh-huh.
And that piqued my interest because the area where I live has one of the highest young youth suicide rates in the country. And I believe well, you and I have talked about this, that teaching children they're animals is child abuse.
Yeah.
And so we got to talking about this, and so I asked her what the findings were at this conference, and then she didn't really offer me anything substantive. However, I decided to step in and add my little flavor to the conversation. I said, look, even Christopher Hitchens said that every conversation on this planet all is overridden by one central conversation, one central debate, that is whether or not the supernatural exists, and the belief in that, and the repudiation of that belief, right? And so if you don't believe, if you're taught your entire life that you're just an animal and there is no God to reach out to when your parents are getting divorced, or your peer group in school is rejecting you, and if you combine all of that into one nasty scenario where your parents don't care about you and your peers are rejecting you, and you're getting rejected by girlfriends, boyfriends, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, now you have a situation where they just give up because there is no one to reach out to. There is no greater child abuse than to tell a child, look, when all is collapsing around you, there is no God to reach out to. You're all alone.
There's no hope. There's no eternal answer. There's no eternal solution. You came from a magical mud pit hit by a magical lightning bolt. So it's up to you. And since the whole world is against you, why continue to live?
Well, listen, as I watched, that's exactly right. As I watched the face of this woman, lights were appearing over top of her head. And you could see that her countenance was beginning to change. And she said, listen, Mr. Shoesmith, I want to tell you something. It all makes sense to me now. Now, listen to this, Carl. This will astound you.
This is a children's aid worker.
Right. These children's aid caseworkers said to me, she said, between 95 and 98% of the intakes to the Children's Aid Society come from atheist houses.
There you go. 98% of the intakes come from atheist homes.
That's right.
Wow. That's huge. She admitted that to you.
And she confirms what you and I have been saying for years, that teaching children that there's no transcendental reality, that they're just animals, which crawled out of the primordial slime millions of years ago, that is child abuse.
It is child abuse. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
And so basically we're just saying, look, we're right about this. And the atheists are wrong. And it is time that we stopped ignoring the facts here. Atheism is child abuse.
Thank you. Thank you, Mike Shoesmith.
Visit the blog, visit the Facebook page. Thank you very much. I look forward to the rest of the show. And God bless you guys. We'll talk to you next week.
Good deal. Fantastic. Boy, you've been listening to the powerhouse, Mike Shoesmith, syndicated blogger, executive director of the mega viral PP Simmons ministry. You can go to the PP Simmons YouTube site. You can get to the PP Simmons blog site. You can get to the PP Simmons Facebook site. And that's just the beginning of it all. Other websites from there. Thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people that come by and review the material. It's an amazing thing. You want to get on it. Go to carlgallups.com. You can get all the links. We'll be right back after this brief time out. Jeff Cooner's up next.